Hey everyone, I hope everyone's had a good Christmas. This video is long overdue. So, this video today is about what happened to my nursery. Um, a few parents are not happy with the closure of Pink Ivy Nursery, but there's a few reasons why I decided to permanently close my nursery. So first of all, let's start with why I started a nursery in Wolverhampton. So I used to run a children's club where we do like ballet, boxing and football and things for children. But because the COVID hit so many times, I had to shut down that because there weren't enough children coming, and it was understandable because with so much lockdown happening, I think parents panicked a bit on letting their children attend things where they're in close contact with other people. So, one thing about me is I like to do different things just to keep me busy. So I thought to start a nursery. Reason being is because upon research, I realized that a lot of parents in Wolverhampton are struggling for childcare. And obviously, I was one of those parents. I mean, it's not that there isn't any childcare, it's that the requirements you need is not in most nurseries. Like, most of them are full if you're looking for full-time spaces, and the closest one for me was like a 20-minute drive, which I couldn't cope with the petrol and going back and forth. So like a few months before my clubs was closing, I started to slowly build um, up a nursery. I found a location which was extremely difficult, and I started to get that location ready. I got the place November last year, and it wasn't until May this year that we actually got an inspection, because with all the COVID and restrictions, can't really get close to people. So getting an inspection done was literally almost impossible. Just kept calling and reminding them, and then we finally got an inspection in May, and we opened the 7th of June. So like, I was so excited to start this nursery because I do love children. I want lots of children myself. So I thought, owning something that has to do with children, it is rewarding, and I really did enjoy running my nursery. But when I started this nursery, I already owned a care agency, an agency where I supply nurseries with staff. So what I did was, because when the COVID hit, there was like no shifts for my nursery assistants. I said to myself, if I started a nursery, then they would have shifts, because then they would be a part of my nursery. So some of the staff that I had under my agency is what I used when my nursery started. Obviously, because I didn't have my level 3 yet, I was studying my level 3 online, I couldn't run my nursery physically, like being a manager. So I had to employ others to basically run my nursery, which for me, it was quite a lot, because it's trusting someone to run your entire business, and you have to choose the appropriate person. So I chose 2 people which I believe was fit for the job and appropriate for the job, but come to find out, they ended up screwing me over. So one of my managers, she was quite good, but obviously she had to go off sick because a few health problems, and so which means her deputy manager had to take over from her. Now my deputy manager, I've known her for a bit because she's been under my agencies covering shifts. So I thought, what, she's quite friendly, and she's very outspoken, very good with speaking to others, lot of good people skills, very intelligent, and I thought, okay, she would be the perfect person going forward for the nursery. So what ended up happening is, obviously trust her with the nursery. The other manager was in and out, and what ended up happening is I didn't really come in that often. I only came in like when she would call me to come in, or if something happened, and then I'll come in, or if I'm doing like interviews or hiring. So obviously I hired some new people into the nursery. A few was recommended from my manager, my deputy, and some obviously I got them off Indeed, where I used to advertise. And I didn't realize when I did take the recommendation from my deputy, literally one of the girls I hired, she was a bit feisty, but I just thought, okay, it's just I just didn't look at it any type of way. I just thought, okay, she's just a bit feisty. A lot of the staff were complaining about her. I had to constantly be going in because a lot of the staff members saying she wasn't doing what she was supposed to do. She's not interacting with the children. So I started to come into the nursery a bit more because there was just so much complaining about this person and that person, and we had certain staff arguing with each other, and so I did have to come into nursery more. I didn't go past the double doors with the children where, but I was in the reception area just overseeing everything. I think there was one time I came in and the office was a complete mess. Everything was on the floor, staff files and everything. I was wondering what's going on. I was told by the managers that they were just making sure that everything in the staff files were done correctly, just in case Ofsted was to come over. We need to make sure our files are sorted and, things like that. So obviously, I can't run my own nursery, so I trusted what they said. They had access to the staff files and everything, and I let them do their job. What ended up happening is I had a parent upset because basically one of the children was sent home because she just wasn't feeling well, but it wasn't a thing where she had a high fever or anything. It was just a thing where she was just feeling unwell in herself. Obviously, the parent did let us know when she dropped her off that, she's just not feeling a bit well. So she was a bit quiet. She did play with the kids a bit, but with some children, they just go a bit quiet. So because of that particular staff member said she should go home, and the parent wasn't too happy because sometimes children are not well, and it's not every little thing you got to send them home. Like, even with my kids, if it's something like proper serious, yes, I'll go and get them from school, but if it's something minor where they're just not feeling themselves, they still go to school. So when the parent did tell me about this incident, I did speak to that member of staff and I said, I get where you're coming from, but if you've checked the child hasn't had a high fever, they don't have diarrhea, they're not vomiting, they're just a bit quiet in themselves. The parent did let us know they're not feeling well. You can't keep calling the mom to come get their child because they may be at work or school. And obviously, she said to me, well, what parent brings their child in and their child is not feeling well? And it's just like, we're not here to judge parents. We're here to help parents with childcare so they can go to work or go to school. So obviously I didn't like what she was saying, and I didn't think that what she was saying was very appropriate because we're here to help parents. And the parent wasn't happy because she'd done it twice in a week, and it's not like something major happened. It's just because she was quiet and she wasn't interacting with children. That's not a good enough reason to just send the child home, kind of thing. So what I ended up doing is creating new policies to say that I gave a list of reasons why you can send a child home. Just a list of conditions that could happen that we have to send them home if they have these, so then it stops that from happening. So yeah, obviously, and then there's another instance with the same parent where I think the child didn't want what we had for breakfast. And obviously, if a child, you offer, let's say, cereal, and the child doesn't want that, wants toast, we should be able to give an alternative just in case that child doesn't want it. But for some reason, one of the staff members told a parent that, oh, well, she didn't want what was on our menu, so we just didn't give her anything. And it made it look bad because it was like, so because my child didn't want what was on your menu, you didn't even try to give her another type of food. You just left her starving. So all of these happening, I just created new policies because I just didn't want parents to be upset, and I wanted to also make sure that we were following guidelines. So when I created these new policies, the particular staff member got upset and obviously said to me that it doesn't matter if I create those policies, she's going to do what she wants to do, and she's not going to listen to anything I've got to say. And if she see that child coming again, she's going to send her home again. And it was just, for me, it was like a daring thing. Like, I get you're a manager, but I am the company owner, and you've got to listen to what I say to you. So for her to look me in the face and literally just say to me, I don't care what you say, I'm going to do what I want to do, kind of thing. Obviously, I wrote a disciplinary on her, but that same day, she decided to resign for whatever reason. She resigned. I guess she probably saw it coming anyways. And next thing you know, after about a week or two, I was in university. The girls were there. Obviously, in the moment, I was looking for a new manager because the other one was off sick and she's gone. And next thing you know, I had Ofsted turn up at my nursery out of nowhere, and I was just wondering, well, what's happened? So when Ofsted turned up, I was in uni, they called me, and I literally had to rush over to the nursery to figure out what's happened, that Ofsted has come. And what ended up happening is we had two receptionists. So for some reason, one of my receptionists, she went on a school run, and the other one was there, and basically her job is to make sure that that door is always closed and no one's going through the door. And for some reason on that day, when I looked at the camera footage, she was supposed to leave early, but she left that door unattended to, and it's her job to always make sure it's closed. So basically, Ofsted just walked right in, literally pushed the door and walked right in. And as a nursery, your door should never be that easy to just get through. You have to be able to knock and someone lets you in. But for some reason, that day, my receptionist just wasn't doing her job. And Ofsted walked right in. She walked right in to the point where she went towards the kids before anyone even asked her who she was, which is so bad. And I was absolutely raging that this happened because I'm paying her money to do her job and she didn't. So the lady, first of all, already looked at us as bad people for the fact that we did that, because how is it someone can just walk right in? No one's asking her who she is. She didn't sign any visitor's book or nothing. And I just couldn't understand what was going on that day. So when I came over, she was asking for certain files. Like, obviously, when you hire people, you've got to take DBS and qualifications and all of that, references and all the checks that you do for your staff before you hire them. And obviously, most of the stuff, I did the interviews and stuff myself and took the documents myself. But when I went into the filing system, they were gone. So then, literally went into the files, couldn't find certain documents and certain people's files were gone. They weren't there, and I'm thinking in my head, the last time I saw all the files on the floor, like my manager told me she was sorting out the files to make sure everyone has what they need in their file. But going into the files now, can't even find simple things like people's qualifications, people's proof of ID, and I was just wondering what's going on. And at that moment, the woman's looking at me like, why is it that you don't know that these are in here? And I said, well, I'm not allowed to run my nursery, so all I can do is supervise. I didn't realize things were missing. So because of that now, the lady just looked at me and was just like, well, how is it that you hide people and you haven't done these checks? And I was trying to obviously explain to her that I have done these checks. I wouldn't hire anyone without checking. And she said because I can't prove that to her at the moment because the files are just not there, then it's a problem. So what it was is they suspended my license for the nursery, and I wasn't allowed to run my nursery. I had to shut down. This was around the 27th or the 30th of September. And so what I now had to do is go to each of my staff and redo everything, which took quite a while. And then they came back out for an inspection. So obviously looking at the circumstances, I said to the lady, you know what, you're doing your job. To be honest, all the things you've listed, it's bad. From the minute she walked through the door without no one even greeting her or even asking her who she was, to she said she asked my receptionist, why is it that the door's not closed? And the answer she had to give to her is, well, my shift is over, I'm going home anyways. Not appropriate. Then we had staff members panicking. And then we had files missing. So it was just like, everything was just in disarray. At that moment, I didn't realize that the reason why Offset comes over is because someone's made a report. So apparently one of my staff members made a report to Ofsted, not just against the nursery, but against me as well. So obviously, as the weeks went by, I started to get phone calls from different third parties. I think one of the most shocking things for me was I got a phone call from social services. So social services said to me that I have been accused of neglecting my children. Anyone that knows me knows that my children are not neglected at all. I take very good care of my children. My children are literally spoiled. I give them everything. I take care of them. Like, all of this that I'm doing is for my children. Obviously, Ofsted did their own thing. And when social services contacted me, they said they're going to close the case because they can't seem to find any evidence that I'm neglecting my children. And I said to the man, you're not going to find any evidence. You can come to my house. You're welcome to come anytime you want. Pop up, show up. That's fine. And you'll even see that I take very good care of my children. And then the next people that contacted me was Ofsted again to do another inspection. And what I started to realize is, like, the person who reported us and the person they sent over to us, was just as evil. This woman was literally determined to make sure I never open again. And the reason why I say that is because the few things she did. So obviously the things we got closed down for, by the time she came out for the next inspection, we already did everything on the list. But what it was now, because she's seen that we did everything on the list, what she started to do is, the fact that we did everything on the list, what she did is start to pick on little things. So when she came to the nursery next, I showed her the references and everything that she told me, and she was just like looking at the reference questions. Oh, I should ask this question, or I should ask that question. And I was thinking in my head, okay, if there's certain particular questions you want me to ask, do you have like a guideline as into what questions you expect me to ask in my references? And she just looked at me like, I don't know. It's for you to do. We're just here to make sure that you've done the references. I'm thinking in my head, well, how can you say I'm not doing it right if you're saying you don't know what is supposed to be there? I should just figure it out. Like, how do you expect that to happen? So this woman literally spoke to me like I was stupid and I didn't know what I was doing, kind of thing. So she went around to the rooms and stuff like that, and then she started to suggest some funny things. So she started to pick on the water. So because of the way our nursery set up, the boiler is quite far away from the toilets, so it does take a bit for the water to like warm up, especially early in the morning. So she picked at that and said, how the hot water is taking too long to warm up. And I said, well, I've had someone to come check the boiler. There's nothing wrong with the boiler. It's just the fact that, the boiler is far away. Then the next thing she started to say to me, which I found to be so funny, she said, my fire escape is too accessible. And I said, so what do you mean by that? And she said, the children can easily just push the door and go through. And I said, so well, isn't that why we're supposed to hire the appropriate staff that's supposed to be monitoring the children to make sure they don't go through that door? And then she was suggesting how we should put maybe a lock on our fire escape. And I said to her, I think that's against the law. The whole point of a fire exit is to be easily accessible, so then when there is a fire we can get out. If we go and put a lock on it, how are we going to get out if there's an emergency? And then the next thing was, obviously we needed an appropriate manager. So obviously, because the other manager was on sick and the other one, she quit. So basically I did get a manager, but she said that my manager wasn't suitable. So obviously when I asked her, what do you mean by my manager is not suitable? And she said, obviously the manager had their qualifications, everything that was required, but in her head it's like she wants the manager to have at least manager experience or senior position experience. So obviously the person did have that, but what her problem was, and that, like I said to her, what kind of expectations are you expecting from a manager? Because I'm doing everything that the EYFS tells me I need for manager, but you're still saying no. And she's like, I need to prove suitability. So then I now said to her, okay, So what do you want me to do? Like give them an exam or a question thing that shows that they're suitable? And she just said, I don't know, but you just need to prove your manager's suitable. And I said, but according to the EYFS, a suitable manager needs to have a level 3 approved qualification and 2 years experience in childcare. It doesn't specify what kind of experience, but it does say experience in childcare. So, but every time I ask this woman a question, it's just, I don't know, you tell me, and I'm just, the thing is, I don't understand is, how can you be inspecting my nursery and you don't even know? So she came over a few times. In each inspection, she'll find something new to literally complain about. So the next inspection was crazy. So from the beginning, she knew there was cameras in my nursery. There's cameras inside and outside my nursery. But the next inspection she did now, she started saying, oh, I've noticed you got cameras. And I said, you knew there was cameras from the beginning because we spoke to you about the cameras when we spoke to you about when they broke into our nursery. And she was just like, oh, well, do you have signs to show that there's cameras? And I said, yes, look behind you. There's a small little sticker there that says ring. Oh, well, how does everyone know that ring means camera? You need to have a sign that says cameras being in use. And I was like, okay. And then she went to the door in the reception area. Oh, the door in the reception area is not safe. And I said to her, well, what do you mean it's not safe? What do you want me to do, take it off? Oh, I don't know. And it's just like, but you just commented on it, so why don't you know? Like, I can't take it off because behind that desk is more hazards towards the children. So what she started to do is like use little excuses to not open us. Originally from the start, I get why she felt the way she felt. Obviously, I did address those issues accordingly and sorted them. But then now it was just little things that she'll pick at. And then she went to the kitchen. She was like, the kitchen, she was saying the floor or something like that. We sorted that out. Then she came back again and she was just like, oh, there's string in the room. I sorted that as well. So what started to happen is she literally just make silly excuses to not let us open. This went on for about 2 months, which put me into a tremendous amount of debt because I've got to pay rent for my nursery. And if we're not open, we can't pay rent. So what I was trying to say to her is, I don't understand why you're keeping us closed. The things you're complaining about now, the major things has been sorted. But the little things you're complaining about now, you can still keep us open while we try to sort it. Because you have to remember, some of these things you want us to sort, I need money to do it. If you close me, how am I supposed to get the money to sort out the issues that you're asking? Like, some of the stuff was training. So obviously, my managers that I chose needed to go on training, DSL training. That course alone costs a lot of money just for one person. And if I'm going to put 2 people on it, I need to make sure that I've got money for it. I'm not going to have money for it if you keep me closed, kind of thing. So what happened next was the next time she came over, she was just like proper questioning the manager that I chose to the point where she literally scared her. She was asking questions like, oh, if you ask your company director that the nursery needs something, is she approachable, and things like that, the way she was talking. And then she started questioning me about my marriage. Oh, there was an incident in June. What happened? Why didn't I inform Ofsted, kind of thing? And I was just thinking, well, I didn't know that Ofsted needed to know what was going on in my house. It's between me and my husband. Nothing bad happened. And she was just like, but if it's something that's going to affect the nursery, you need to tell us. And for me, it's like, it's nothing that's going to affect the nursery. That's my own personal life. I don't understand why you need to know that. And she's like, oh, what the EYFS says. And obviously in the EYFS, I didn't see anything there that says I need to report my personal life. I know the managers have to because basically, because they're managing the nursery, if anything was to happen personally in their home, they have to notify Ofsted and let them know. Whereas I'm not a manager, I just own the company, kind of thing. So if something personal was to happen to me, as long as it doesn't affect the nursery, it doesn't say anything there that I must report it. But this woman just she used the EYFS to justify every stupid action she asks for. Even the hot water, it doesn't say in the EYFS or specify anything about hot or cold water. But obviously no one wants to wash their hands with cold water. But we don't let the children wash their hands with cold water. We make sure the water is nice and warm by the time they get there. But she's saying, she pointed out a section in EYFS that talks about hot water. But when you read that section, it doesn't say anything about hot water. It just talks about promoting healthy well-being and things. At the end of the day, when she came back over, I had to call the manager and I was just absolutely pissed off, because for me it was just like, the last time you guys came over, you stuck on my references, or I'm not asking appropriate questions and I'm not asking the appropriate things that I should be asking. And then when she came over the next time, I said to the manager, but you guys made such a fuss about my references and how I do them. But this time around she came over, she didn't even just check one of my references, but she made a big deal about it. And next thing you know, within an hour, I got a call saying that we can open. So because we've been closed for 2 months, we had so much to catch up on. I couldn't open the next day, so I opened on the 15th of November, which was giving us enough time to at least see how much children we're going to have left, because we lost a lot of kids. Because we were closed for 2 months, we lost so many kids, and we had to just catch up with everything in such a short time. So obviously the last visit she did, there was only 3 more things left on the list, which was making sure my managers had DSL training, basically my radiators, because they have pipes coming out of it, making sure we cover them appropriately. And I think there was one more there, making sure the hot water is just as hot as it should be for the children. So I said to her, well, with those reasons, it's something that it will take time, but we can fix. And so we sorted them out. We got like this little foam thing which we zip tied to the pipes, and we zip tied as much as we could to cover the pipes. And obviously told my staff members that, you know, don't put the heating too high and things like that. The hot water, I had the man come over, sorted out the hot water so it does get warm. And then with the doors, we added some white things to the doors to make sure that kids can't trap their fingers in the doors. We did quite a few things anyways. I now was trying to phone her. I didn't know she was on annual leave, so obviously booked the next visit so then she can see we've done what we needed to do and we can come off the welfare requirements and continue to run our nursery, because like I said, we had so much to catch up on and I just wanted to get right to it. So what ended up happening is, when I called her, she said to me, and I've got this on camera, she's not coming over for a visit. So I was asking, you know, why? She sent me an email saying there will be no further inspections. So when I called her to clarify, because I was quite confused. I was thinking we had an inspection that was supposed to happen this week, so what's going to happen there? She said, oh, there's no more inspections. Offset is satisfied with the improvement we made over the past few months. No more inspections. So literally she said to me that the next inspection will be like a full inspection, and obviously the full inspection, so I had to ask her, so when you say the full inspection, like what do you mean? So there's an inspection that most nurseries get when they're getting close to being 2 years, but they've been at least 1 year, where you get like your rating of your nursery. So she said to me that happens like close to 30 months or within 30 months or something like that. So I said to her, okay, so is that the only inspection that's left to do? And she said, yeah, so that inspection will happen, obviously, when our nursery is getting close to 30 months. So I said, okay, that's fine. We're all excited. If you see the camera footage, we're all excited. We're thinking, yes, no more inspections. We can now focus on building our nursery back up because we lost so much. She also said to me that obviously the case on her side has been closed against the nursery, so she's no longer a part of my case anymore, so she won't be working with us anymore. It'll just be like when that time comes for our nursery to have the full inspection, we'll just have a new person kind of thing. But after 2 weeks, we had so much to catch up on. We were trying to get more parents back in the door. We were trying to sort things out. Paperwork, we lost some staff as well. We had to hire new staff, and we had to make sure there was an appropriate staff, and going through the checklist. And it was a lot to catch up on. So what ended up happening is, what we had to do is catch up on everything. And within 2 weeks, on that following Monday, I'll never forget, December 6th was the worst day ever. we had Ofsted turn up at our door. This time round, I had just went to go drop my kids off to school, and I got a phone call. Ofsted is in the building, and I said, for what? Like, I don't understand why they're here. Like, I thought this case was closed and we can now literally try to build our nursery back. We've been closed for so long. So I'm now running over, trying to figure out what's happened and what's going on. And they said to me, well, you're going to have your full inspection. And I said, well, what full inspection is that? Oh, the one that you get when your nursery is about 2 years. And I was like, what? We've been closed for 2 months and we just opened. It's only been 2 weeks. Why would we be getting an inspection that most nurseries get when they're about 2 years old? We haven't even been open for a year. What's going on? I said to the lady, like, what is happening? I don't understand. So I was literally wondering, okay, I was in panic mode because I was just thinking, what's going on? So the lady went to the bathroom. Obviously, the water took a bit long to warm up. I mean, we just came in the morning. We hadn't even started yet. We just came in. And then literally on that day, we had a lot of viewings from parents, potential parents, so many potential parents. And we had that day we was going to go ice skating with the kids as well. We already booked activities with the children. And Offset shows up. And going through the rooms and stuff. And first of all, did he even check the documents of my staff to see if my staff is qualified? Automatically doomed that my manager wasn't suitable, which didn't make any sense to me. Like, it wasn't the same manager as last time, because what happened is the manager was supposed to have, she decided to quit on us literally a few days before our inspection. So the next thing that happened now, because she couldn't really find anything else, alright, she complained about the hot water. So my radiators, so like I said before, there's pipes that stick out my radiators. So we zip tied them with a foam thing to make sure the children don't touch them. So she found like a small little section that didn't have the foam. And she's like, oh, that's not covered. And I said, so that's something that can be done in like 2-3 minutes. Are you seriously gonna shut me down for that small little section that's not covered? Oh, well, the children can burn themselves. And I was like, isn't that why we have staff to monitor the children to not go near the pipe work? And so she realized that obviously what she was saying is stupid. So what she did now, she went on her knees and she went under my radiator cover. So my radiators, we have radiator covers. And she started to look under my radiator. Oh, well, there's a pipe there. And I said, but do you see the effort you had to make just to find that pipe? What makes you think a child is really going to take that amount of effort just to look for that pipe all the way under a radiator cover? Now, this is where I started to get upset, because I literally looked at her and I was just like, seriously? And then she went to my radiator cover and she started shaking on it. You know, like someone just like proper pulling on it. She was proper shaking it like she wants to break it. And I looked at her and I said, well, what are you trying to do? Because that is drilled into the wall so that children cannot pull it off. That's why it's a radiator cover. Oh, I'm just making sure it's on securely. Yeah, but if you keep pulling on that and it breaks, you're going to say to me, oh, well, the children can break that. You're a grown woman. If you keep pulling on that, it is going to break. So are you trying to break my stuff and then say, oh, well, this is a hazard to the children, when your strength and a child's strength is two different things? Like, proper shaking my radiator cover, and I was just thinking, like, how far are you going to go? And then she goes into the other room and she doesn't see nothing wrong with the pipe work. I covered all of it. And then she looks at me and goes, do you see any hazards in this room? The children are playing. There's toys everywhere. Would you? So she was looking at the pipes in the room, and then she went and she didn't say anything. And I said, so I'm confused. And she said, what do you mean? I said, you complained about that room, but do you notice the same setup where the radiator is the same setup in the other room? So why is it you noticed all the way under my radiators there's a pipe there, but you didn't even check this one? Oh, are they set up the same way? I was like, are you not looking properly, or you're just here to just do a quick inspection? And then she looked, oh yeah, there's a pipe under there too. And I said, so you didn't notice it the first time, but you noticed the other one? No. And I looked at her and I said, okay, are you here for an inspection, or are you just looking for an excuse to shut me down? Because if that's what you're looking for, just get out my nursery. I literally said, just leave. Because I'm starting to get upset. Like, if you're going to come here and shut me down for legitimate reasons. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you had to go all the way up and put your head all the way up my radiator just to find a pipe. Are you kidding me? He just kept saying to me, oh, but you need to understand this is a hazard to children and children like to explore. And I said, listen, don't talk to me like I'm stupid. I've got 3 kids. My youngest is 2. I can bubble wrap this whole building and a child can still get hurt. With children, you can't keep an eye on them 24/7. The best that you can do is try to minimize the risk as much as you can for the children and make sure staff are watching and monitoring the children in their care. But you're looking at something as little as that, and that's what you want to shut me down for? Are you kidding me right now? I got so overwhelmed, so angry. I literally had to step outside and I was in tears because I have put everything into my nursery. All my money, all my time, everything into my nursery. And for this woman to find one little tiny thing and she's trying to make a big deal about it just because she can't find any other excuse to close me down, it absolutely pissed me off. It pissed me off. It pissed off our parents. Because even when you look at the welfare requirement, she don't even specify. For me, literally, I just said, you know what, I can't do it anymore. From September, I've been fighting with the same woman. And it's like she's determined to have me close. And as much as I love my nursery and all the parents, till this day, they're asking us to fight, to not let the nursery go, to just continue to fight and open, because our nursery was needed in the community. Exactly the location we're bang right in town, and there's not a lot of childcare with spaces available. So it was just a thing where we had to be careful. And a lot of the children we had as well were children of those who are going to university like myself. So it was much needed. Like, a lot of parents love our nursery, all the children and everything. They just loved our nursery. But the way I look at it, when someone's after you, you just got to walk away. Like, so many things, just a chain of events just kept happening. And I just wasn't happy with it. Like, some of the people there that I was supposed to trust to be manager, when they see that something is about to happen, they duck and they leave, and they're not reliable. So it's just like so many things was happening. When I did finally find someone that was reliable, Ofsted couldn't give me a reason why they feel like that person wasn't suitable. It's just like, well, she's not suitable. Didn't even check the people's documents. We didn't even get to the part where they even checking people's files and stuff. Just looked at small little things and just went, oh, that's a concern. Oh, we're harming children. I don't understand what is wrong with Ofsted. So obviously, come to find out, because there's 2 company directors. I'm the main one, and I've got another company director. So she knows the director of Ofsted. So come to know that he's resigned. So apparently there's a lot of corruption going on in Ofsted. If you guys haven't noticed, Ofsted have actually shut down a lot of childcare places. Not for major reasons, for little reasons, but they're using the EYFS to justify stupid reasons why they're shutting down places. There's even another nursery that was open for about a good 10 years and they've shut them down. So Ofsted is literally attacking childcare, and I don't know why. And the director has resigned because he realized there's so much corruption in Ofsted and he just can't be a part of it anymore. And I honestly cannot blame him. I can't blame him at all, because it's a lot of corruption going on. So they're literally shutting down, they're attacking nurseries. So if you own a nursery, please be very careful. They are brutal. So at this point, I mean, I could have continued fighting, but being closed for 2 months has put me in debt. Debt that it's going to take a lot of money for me to get out of that debt. And I've got 3 kids to take care of. I'm young. I don't want to be putting a tremendous amount of stress on myself for something that I don't know what's going to happen in the long run. I mean, my nursery was brilliant. I mean, other nurseries that we did supply with staff, when they came into our nursery, when we were selling the things in our nursery, they were even impressed by just the layout of our nursery. It was impressive. We did very well with the layout and everything. It was beautiful in there. From the outside, you wouldn't tell how beautiful it is inside, and we were just really good. We had good staff, but unfortunately, they normally say when you got one bad egg, it spoils the rest, and that's literally what we had. We had one bad staff that literally poisoned a few others, and then boom. Even our staff, they're not happy with the fact that we got closed. They're quite furious because it all started with 3 girls attacking the nursery, reporting about things that's not even true, and then next thing you know, Offset is at our door, and once you're on their radar, that's it. They will keep coming after you, no matter what you do. They'll just keep coming after you, and I couldn't have that. So at this point, I mean, I love the nursery, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss it. I loved my job. Coming in every day, we were like family in there. We literally became so close. We were like family. So having to let this nursery go, it kills me, but I gotta let it go. So Pink Ivy Nursery is closed. Now, will we open in the future? I don't know if I've got the headspace to deal with Offset again, because those people are just brutal for no reason. So at this point, I really do feel it for the parents, because there is a serious childcare problem in Wolverhampton. And I know other nurseries got things to say about my nursery, and other parents that haven't even been a part of our nursery got stuff to say about our nursery. But our nursery was good. We took care of parents there. Like, even if parents couldn't afford it, we made our prices affordable. We worked with parents that couldn't afford it. We did everything we can to make those children happy and safe. And we had beautiful, loving staff. So at the end of the day, anyone can say anything they got to say about our nursery, but our nursery was beautiful. And I'm pretty sure some people are like, oh, they're happy we're closed or whatever it is. Those are the ones that don't know how good we were. But don't worry, you guys will see soon. There is a serious growing problem with childcare at the moment, and it ain't gonna get any better, because Ofsted is attacking childcare services at the moment. Director is gone now. So, I mean, we loved all our parents. Our staff loved us. I took very good care of my staff. Even in the staff out there going around talking crap, listen, they were getting paid above minimum wage. And for my managers, they were on a £12 per hour wage, even though, to be honest, ain't shit was being done, because if they were actually doing their job, Ofsted wouldn't have shut us down in the first place. But they were making a good amount of money. I mean, some of these people were making over 1,500 a month. I paid my staff very well, and even the staff room, you got a TV in the staff room where my staff can chill. We had everything in there, good cooked food from our wonderful cook. I mean, our nursery was beautiful. Working there was a privilege, to be honest. I took very good care of my staff, but at the end of the day, my staff ended up turning against me. 3 of my staff turned against me, and I gave them opportunities to. Sometimes in this life, you give people chances, and they take it and they spit it back in your face. And that's literally what happened to me. I trusted the wrong people into my nursery. I had people come over and they wanted opportunities, and I gave them opportunities, and they took it back and slapped it in my face. So, I mean, I've had enough now. So I'm just going to focus on me and my children and just take it from there. But when it comes to nursery, Pink Ivy Nursery is officially closed. I've just been trying to focus on my kids at the moment, and the fact that the nursery's been closed has taken a toll on me. So I've just been taking some time out for my own mental health to get myself sorted, and then obviously fill out all the paperwork that I need to officially shut down the nursery. But yeah, I've gotta think about my family now and my well-being more than anything else. So I love everyone that we worked with. We love the parents. We love the children. Oh, we're going to miss the children. So officially, Pink Ivy Nursery is closed. I'm so sorry, guys, but I will not be fighting further. If I continue to fight with Ofsted, I'm going to end up doing something that I'm going to end up in a lot of trouble. And I'd rather just not go down that road. My record is clean, and I'm going to keep it that way. At the moment, Ofsted is trying to get me on a barring list to say that I shouldn't work with children, because they're just after me for something. I don't know what that woman's problem is, but she needs to leave me alone. The last time she called me, I told her don't call my phone, because literally you got what you wanted, which was to shut down my nursery. So I don't see the need for you calling me anymore. So now she wants to get me on a barring list. I never actually worked with the children, so getting me on a barring list at the moment. They tried to get the Lado team to investigate me, and Lado called me the other day saying that the case is closed because they told Ofsted, well, they don't see how they can investigate me when I don't work with the children. I mean, Lado is like where you report safeguarding concerns if a staff was to abuse a child. I don't work with the children. Like, I'm in the reception area. I don't even touch the children. I don't work with them. I'm not around them. So while they want Lado to investigate me, what they was trying to do is get Lado to investigate me and say, basically, I'm not suitable to work with children. But I wasn't working with them anyway, so how can they try to get me on a barring list for a job that I wasn't even doing anyways? I was the company director. I only came in when needed. But I mean, a lot of people can try to destroy me, but it's not going to work because I don't do anything wrong to anyone. I keep to myself. So yeah, guys, Ofsted is a nightmare, and I am officially done with them. Nursery is closed permanently. There's nothing else I can say, but nursery's closed. So I'm so sorry, parents. I know some of you really loved our nursery and love work with our nursery, your children as well, but I can't continue this battle, this unnecessary battle for things that don't make any sense at all. I need to think about my own well-being and my children. So officially, Pink Ivy Nursery is closed. I hope you guys had a lovely Christmas and have a beautiful New Year. But our journey has ended, unfortunately. Bye.